Hey, thanks for joining me on my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be covering muscle mass and how to build muscle mass. But first, it's obvious one for rugby players actually to have a bit more muscle, right? Because with rugby, you're going to be getting hit, you're going to be hitting people. If you're a bit heavier, you can actually help maneuver other people. All right, and if you're stronger with that, that's going to be even better. Okay, so we're going to be covering how can you build that muscle mass and strength, okay, today. And it's not going to have everything, but we have these three main things I want to go through. My number one is how much stimulus or what stimulus you should be putting on so you are as strong as possible. And you can put as much muscle on as possible. The other big thing is my secret tip. Okay, my secret tip for putting on muscle mass. Now, I'm not sure if you would have heard this one before. Maybe you would have heard of it, but we'll see. And then I'm going to be covering questions that I got on my Instagram. So I got questions, what are the best exercises for putting on muscle for rugby? Okay, so I'm going to be covering that. I'm going to be covering on putting on muscle during the season. That's a big one. And how to gain size but not lose speed. Because with rugby players, you want to be fast, right? Speed is a true weapon. It doesn't matter what position you play. If you are fast, you are a threat on the field. So, please, like my channel, subscribe, like the video. That's going to help me out. And then I can keep doing more and more of these. Tomorrow I'm also going to be covering nutrition for muscle mass. So this is going to be a series. And you can go and have a look at that. So, let's get into it. Building muscle mass, okay? And what do we need to do? So first, you need to create a stimulus. All right, so you actually need to work out so the body goes, oh, I need to make a change here. All right, I need to bring more protein or amino acids to this muscle after it's been stimulated. Okay, it's got to have a reason. Okay, so my number one thing for stimulating growth is doing something that you've never done before. Okay, so if you've never worked out in the gym before, you're going to get good gains if you go and work out in the gym because you've never done it. Okay, but most people have done work in the gym before. Right? Usually they've rocked up, maybe done a couple of programs, or they've just made up their own thing as they've gone. That's fine. Cool. At least you've got started. Now, how can we improve on that? Well, what's something in the gym that you haven't done? Okay, that is the big questions. And what I find is that most people haven't done much work on either isometrics or eccentric work. Now, isometric is actually just holding, all right, and squeezing as hard as you can. You're trying to create as much force as possible on an immovable object. And then the second one was the eccentric phase. Okay, so the lowering phase. So you can overload that by either having a slower tempo on the eccentric or the lowering phase, or you could go heavier on the eccentric phase, more so than you could actually go when you're pushing it back up, when the weight's going back up. So how can you apply that? Okay, so think about your chin up, all right? And this is where I get really good results almost immediately with all my clients, because straight away I go straight into chin ups, all right? And I want all my clients, I don't care how heavy you are, to be able to do a chin up. And most people can just hold on there at the top, all right, and lower themselves down. And so one of the easiest ways to start building your chin up is just by lowering yourself back down. And so building up to 30 seconds on the lowering phase. Right? And when that holding yourself up there, that's isometric. And then when you're lowering yourself back down, that's 30 seconds. That's the eccentric phase. That's where we're going to get stronger. So that's a really good tool to build yourself up. The other thing you could do is add in pauses. You could add in all these different other tools. So you can add in supersets. You can add in stimulus that the body has never done before. All right, and that will usually get you best gains. Now, the next thing is having a program. Okay, because obviously the body is an adaptation machine. And what it does, if you keep going into the gym and doing the same thing, it'll actually just fully adapt and you'll hardly get a result. And how many people do you know actually just walk into the gym, do the same old thing, and don't come out looking any different after about 6 weeks because that's all they've done? Or you have or you have the opposite person who's always doing something different. So it's like, how are they actually going to get better at something if they're always doing something different? No. All right. What I like to do is I program for 4 weeks because you'll actually fully adapt between that 3 and 5 week mark. Anything over that, and you'll most likely be fully adapted to that program. Okay, that's sets and reps range. So what you need to do is either change the tempo of how fast you do the exercise. You can change the exercises themselves. You can change a whole lot of things. Right? You can even change the rest periods, how long you're resting for. Now, that leads me into your actual programming. So what I actually like to do, I like to do an undulating method of programming. It's not how I start everyone off. All my programs, so my super player program, maximum muscle program, whichever one goes on, the first 12 weeks is not undulating, okay? The first 12 weeks is actually linear. So I'm actually building up volume. Always building up volume. All right, that's how I started off, because I want people to be able to handle more volume, because most people actually can't handle more volume. And when I say volume, it's actually sets and reps. Okay, and so one, they're going to be fitter because their body can handle more volume. They can do more. Okay, they can do more work. But it's also going to help out correcting technique issues. Any technique issues, the more you do something, the more the brain actually gets the fire. And number two, we can actually lay a whole lot of muscle mass, right? Because muscle mass usually comes from doing more reps. Okay, so we could create more damage. The body will have to make more adaptation compared to doing more intensity. But we still need intensity. So intensity refers to how close you are to your 1 RM or your maximum weight that you can lift. Now, if you think about lifting your maximum weight, this is actually coming more from the brain. Okay, and your body's ability to fire on everything safely. So the brain's like, okay, I can do this safely, I can lift this. Or I can recruit all this muscle fiber, so we can do this. It doesn't actually have much as 1RMs into building size. Although you need to be able to build up your 1RM so that, when you do your 3, 5, 6, 8 reps, whatever it is, that you can actually do more weight. Okay, so if your 1RM goes up, then you'll be able to do more weight of that. So what you can do is actually have, say you have a 100 kilo squat right now. Okay, 1 rep max is 100 kilos. Our goal for you to put on muscle mass is to get it to 6 reps. Okay, and you could do that in 12 weeks at that sort of weight. All right, and that doesn't mean you come in and keep doing 6 reps of whatever weight. Or you keep doing 100 kilos of 1, 2, 3 reps, whatever you can build up to. No, you have a program building up to that. All right, so first you'd want to put on more muscle mass, so then you have more ability to recruit more muscle. Okay, so I'm not going too deep on that, but let's move on. All right, so let's go into questions. So, what are the best exercises for rugby players? Okay, and putting on size. Well, it's always going to be your legs, right? Your legs are way bigger than your upper body. I'm not saying don't do upper body, but your legs, your squats, all right? You look at Olympic weightlifters, how big their legs are, how athletic they are, how far high they can jump or how tall they are. It's actually incredible. And that's why I always get guys squatting lower, right? Because it's actually going to get more glute activation in that bottom range. And also, if you're squatting like a weightlifter, you're also getting the quad development at the same time. All right, and those two muscle groups, they're like your big engines that we need to build. Then I'll stick to RDLs, so Romanian deadlifts. I like RDLs compared to like a normal deadlift, because a normal deadlift is it's good, but it's in between a squat and an RDL. An RDL really focuses on the hamstrings and lower back. All right, and one thing you need as a rugby player is actually need a really strong lower back. So that's one thing, and also you're going to carry a lot of more muscle mass. Like your back is also a massive muscle. Okay, so my next thing would be doing chin-ups, and then your presses, making sure that you're doing plenty of obviously bench presses, but switching it up with dumbbells as well, doing your dumbbell work and changing how you're actually holding the dumbbells. So not always just doing like your normal bench press like this, getting dumbbells, holding a neutral grip, getting that real deep, right? So we're going to stretch out all the chest fibers even a bit further. Hope that answers that question. But yeah, stick to your compound lifts. That usually keeps it easier. Putting on muscle during the season. Can it be done? How should you do it? Now, the biggest thing for me is, okay, well, how desperate are you to play really well this season? if this season doesn't mean so much to you, you could go harder. You could do more, definitely, because like what you're really risking is you playing well on a Saturday or Sunday, whatever day you play. Because if you're training hard in the gym and then you're getting to a Saturday, you're going to have some sort of fatigue there. Whether it's your central nervous system, like which is your brain, like all your organs and everything in your body, or like your muscles are just going to be fatigued. Okay, so like that's what I want you to think about. If it's not the biggest priority, then I would be backing off volume, and I would pretty much be trying to maintain by like having a bit. So I'd still be in a surplus. I'm always in a surplus during the season, and I would just be trying to get little wins. So much smaller than what I normally do in the season. But like if you're getting like if you're getting 1% wins during a 1 month program, you go up 1%. That's better than going backwards, and that's still contributing to going even further. Now, so how can we apply that? So I like to keep the volume very low. I still like to use intensity, so I still use it undulating, which means volume 1 month, intensity the next month. So I still like to use that. And I still like to use my power stuff in that. It's just a matter of getting the right volume in and knowing what's right for you. It's like, are you going to go really hard at this, and sacrifice your footy on the Saturday? Then that's fine. You can still train normally. So it's up to you on that. But I like to keep it. I like to keep people just having small wins, and then during the season, and then by the end of the season, we can have you peaking by the end of the season where you're feeling your strongest. All right, this is a big one because this definitely happened to me. Is like how to gain size and not lose speed. And when I was like 17, 16, I put on like 20 kilos and like totally lost all my speed. And the speed was my big part of my game because I'm not a tall guy. I'm not like thick, like by any means. Naturally, I just, I'm just average guy that loves to train and is quite strong because of that. But yeah, I definitely went through that and it sucked. Like it really did suck. It hurt me deeply that I couldn't run fast. My knees hurt, my shins hurt, everything hurt. I was slow. I was getting beaten by everyone, and like it didn't make me perform on the field. So what I like you to think about is like how much weight do you actually want to put on for firstly, like how much weight do you need, and then secondly, I would be saying, say like some guys say they want to put on 15 kilos to me or something like that, 15, 20 kilos, and how fast can they do that? I'm like, well, go and put a 20 kilo weight vest on and try running with that. See how you're going to go. So really think about it. Like really think about how much do you realistically need to put on and how much are you going to be able to run with that. But the biggest thing is your relative strength's got to go up. Okay, so whatever weight you put on, then your strength levels have to match that. Okay, so if you're just putting on fat, you're just eating McDonald's and doing some sort of dirty bulk, like don't expect to put on that much muscle. All right, I'd actually expect you're going to get slower because your muscle isn't matching your extra weight you've put on. Okay, so like your relative strength, and that's how much you can move compared to your body weight. So say like you weigh 100 kilos, and then you go up to 120 kilos, but before you could squat 200, and now you can only squat at 205. That moving weight's going to be way harder because your legs haven't actually gone up the way your weight has. Okay, I hope that makes sense. I'll try to make that make sense. All right, and we are going to finish this off with my secret. I said I'll leave it to the end, and here it is. So the secret is changing your perspective, okay, of time. You have so much more time than you think, and I wish someone told me that ages ago. I wish that someone told me that was when I was 17. You don't need to put on 10 kilos right now. You don't. You don't need to put on 10 kilos in the off season. All right, you have so much time, even if you're 30 years old like I am. All right, I have so much more time to keep putting on weight. Obviously, I'm not trying to be the best rugby player in the world anymore. I'm just trying to be the best I can be. And if you just keep incrementally getting stronger and putting on size, you're going to get there. you're going to get where you want to be. It just takes time. And it's all about perspective. Like, people say to me, oh, Pat, I'm not putting on much muscle fast, or, I'm not gaining much size fast. And, like, most people actually are putting on more size and strength than what they think they are. They just can't see it. Like, they're not really measuring it, or they're measuring themselves against other people who are taking steroids. And, that's not very helpful. So I want you to change your perspective. So, you have so much time. You have so much time to keep putting on size, strength. Like, the main thing is, if you can stay consistent at it, keep your programming up, like, you're going to get there. And you're going to get strong. But if you don't have the programming, if you don't do that, you don't stay consistent, then you probably won't get there. And that's actually the biggest problem. People think, okay, this should happen really fast. And sometimes it can be that curse of, because, like, when you first start going to the gym, it actually happens quite fast. Because, like I said, it's something you haven't done before. But then it all changes, right? Like, then it all changes, because it will slow down. Like, you can't just keep growing at the same rate, otherwise we'd all be lifting 1,000 kilos deadlifts. It definitely slows down, and then, like, a 1% win is a huge win. A 0.5% win is a huge win once you get, like, quite strong. Okay, so, like, you got time. Change your perspective. If you like this, please hit subscribe. More's coming tomorrow. And if we like these longer videos, please let me know, because I will keep them coming, because I can talk for days. Check out my maximum muscle program if you're interested in putting on muscle mass. I shall chuck the link in the below. And follow me on Instagram, all the socials. It's all there for you. Have a good one.